Hey guys, welcome back. A little bit of an impromptu video here to me, but Spirit's probably like, actually, you need to give this. So, if you've been following my channel all this time, thank you so much. Welcome back. Then maybe you heard me say a couple weeks back uh, that the team was mentioning that we're going to be teaching a lot more stuff recently or moving forward, right? And they mentioned a specific number of people that would need to receive this information. That they said 69. So if you, and it really doesn't matter who or what, but I'm just wondering who over time, like I think I heard something like somebody is going to see this material like 6 years later, right? So we don't know. But either way, if you're watching this video and you're interested in these kinds of things based on the title, then welcome. Welcome back to another session, I guess. So for this impromptu video, what I was thinking is that we can look a little bit deeper, but not too deeply, but just a little bit deeper at this concept of everything that you see being meaningless and you being the one who attributes all the meaning that is experienced by you and that is seen by you and perceived by you in the world. Now, this follows logically from the information that we've been channeling recently, which is this idea that everything in your world, whether it's you turning on the TV and happening to catch the tail end of a commercial, and or you walking down the street and going left instead of going right, and just all of that, everything out of all the possibilities that you could experience, that you could see, that you can feel, that you can touch, that you can everything out of all the possibilities that it could be in that one moment, you're experiencing what you would see as a linear reality filled with perceived causes and effects and all sorts of stuff and all sorts of meaning. But what spirit has been telling us is that all you're doing is engaging with your own consciousness, that most of which you haven't even become aware of because it's still sitting gently in your subconscious, right? And so that's why when spirit looks upon us, whatever. Spirit doesn't look at us as victims because we're not victims. We may have an experience in a moment in our life, or like many moments, where we experience the role of being a victim. But even that, in that moment, there's always one guy across the world who can find a causal chain that could place you as an agent of your own experience, while there's somebody else across the world who can place you as a causal agent. Find a causal link for you as the cause, not to be an agent, but to be a victim. Long story short, it just proves that no matter what you experience, there's always some different way to interpret it. However, spirit always looks at us as what we are, which are a microcosm. Is there a cute word for it? Yeah, cute. A microcosm of the divine, very easily expressed. Microcosm of the divine. Sometimes we may think of it as being a spark of the divine. Some people may say we're little aspects of God. Whatever it is, we are a fragment of all that is. And you being this lovely little fragment, you have your own unique signature and frequency and beliefs and all of that within the whole. And so, in a lovely way, you can think of it as the strongest advocacy for you being yourself, literally, without you being you and recognizing your truth, your frequency, that God-given signature that you are. In other words, by not being yourself and being true to yourself and living in integrity with yourself, you are kind of depriving the world and all of existence of completion, right? So technically, you in your actual self complete all of reality. And the same that goes for every other aspect of creation, because we are all within and of the whole. We make up one when we come together, right? So that being said, here you are lovingly minding your own business here on this planet Earth. And then you start wondering, well, what am I even doing here? Right. So who are you? We've already covered that, right? You're an aspect of the divine, you're all that beautiful stuff. And what are you doing here? Well, you are literally source in a very cute microcosmic sense, experiencing what? Itself, because source is everything. It is literally all that is. So you're source in disguise, and you have forgotten that. And so therefore, in the absence of that understanding and that memory, you are having experiences and you're making meanings out of it. Now, you can only make a meaning out of something, and you can only, or well, let's put it this way, you can only know fully what something is when you have a vision of the whole. When all the parts are known, will you know what something is? And as a fragment, as a small perspective of all that is, you don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. If you're anybody who has ever walked this planet, I don't care what your social designation is, they don't know. And they may be lauded for canonizing all sorts of beliefs and all of this, but at best their perspectives can only be from their perspective, because they're one unique perspective of all that is. And so that's why, in order to come to be, right, what did they say, where two or more are gathered, that's why the more you come together and the more free flow of information and integration and all that we as a species and all aspects of creation are able to do, we are better able to put all of the puzzle pieces that we are together to arrive at what? A recognition of what we already know but have forgotten. The real reason why you've forgotten is because you're no longer in that state of knowing, you're in a state of perception. And so, that being said, here we are on this planet, the ultimate level of diminishment perception, because we are so lost in the false sauce that we actually think that we're separate. We think that we have a body. We think that we are, and that having a physical body reinforces, by the way, this idea of partition, separation. And many people take it to the level of specialness. Now I'm special, but you see why spirit is like, that's all crazy, because you're actually one entity, you're one self, right? Having an experience of fragmentation for, God's will, whatever that is, right? And and you're just running with it. You're running with it. And we're going to see how easy it is to run with things, and how this is why people have to keep coming back down to the earthly plane, because it's much faster and easier. Technically, there's more potential to learn more quickly here because of the duality, the density, the highs and the lows, and when the highs and lows meet, and the good and bad meet, and the up and down meet, and all of that, we're able to really have a chance to really think, to reflect, and then to expand consciousness. So it's all about expanding the consciousness. And you do that by allowing yourself to remember what you are, and then to consider why you're here, right? You're here to have this experience of self, and you're here to, through this experience, and it's an experience that's been taking a long time. Okay, this is not something, oh, I just died and now it's all, I remember everything and now I'm, no, you pass on and you go back home, let's put it that way, and you resume your life on the other side, and you all that you can remember is brought together, right? But you will come back down again because you need to continue to integrate. Now you may ask, Jay, what's blocking you is all these false beliefs that you're holding, these false beliefs that are born of the false separated state. You have a separated mindset. We all do. We have a separated mindset, which leads to false conclusions and false perceptions. And so when you see a lot of people, whether they call themselves light workers or star seeds or way showers or visionaries or whatever, mission oriented people who legitimately, not all of them, I'm just going to throw that out here, but legitimately can say that they are working in alignment with source, and they're in alignment with source, right? They're doing their best, they're living that life, they're embodying a high enough frequency that they can maintain the energy that comes through them, and then be able to give it out, as opposed to receiving it and struggling to give it out without the intrusion of the ego, right? This is what I'm talking about. Yes, as they say, many are called but few are chosen. And that in and of itself, if you carry a false idea of specialness and ego, you're going to see that as you being a chosen one, and or part of a chosen group, and that creates hierarchy. And now you're falling in love with a function and calling it your designation. No, that's not true. The truth is that we are all one, having this temporary, the millennia, right? Temporary experience of separation. We are source in and of itself, experiencing itself, right? And through that experiencing, picking and choosing what is real, what is not real, what has value, what is not, does not have value, what has substance, energetic substance, and which does not. If it doesn't have energetic substance, it falls apart. And then here in the physical world, the glass shatters, or the relationship breaks, or you end up going to a new job. This is these forms, people, places, things, situations, ideas can no longer appear in our reality if there's no energetic structure to it anymore. And so when we have these mission workers and truth tellers and just all the various words that we say, and always remember that second aspect, and they are legitimately connecting and working in alignment with source, what happens is that they are able to channel through higher wisdom into this plane of existence and share that. And what we are doing when we're able to hold that frequency and disseminate it is we're creating an energetic space that people, when ready, can tune in and connect to and do what? Heal their perceptions. That's all it is. It's just this large scale correction of perception. Now, when you transfer, when you travel back, when you go back home from this unique college experience, so to speak, when you go back home, so a lot of us will all continue to grow and learn in our unique way to do what? To heal the perceptions, to heal the victim consciousness, the poverty consciousness, the over identification with false personalities, false personas. You played a character in this stage like 10 million, no, not 10 million, 10 lifetimes ago. And you're still identifying with that character because you have not yet realized that that was a false personality that was just for a specific time and space, blah, blah, blah. You're still carrying the trauma. And so you come back down here to make amends with other people, but also to heal the trauma. At the base of all of this is just a false separated mindset. So any light worker, etc., that is in alignment with source is always going to be pointing you in the direction back to yourself. And that's like, hey, remember who you are, remember what you are. Because of what you are, you understand that what you're experiencing is not real. It is a temporary experience. And it was made specifically designed by you at the soul level to learn and to heal the mindset. And so the more that you use your time here on earth, time is actually a gift to work through these things because it's more, there's more learning potential than on the other side because everyone's chilling. I mean, not everybody, but when you're just hanging, like they're like, we're working too, but the density isn't there, right? So but when you're working down here with your team in the non-physical and doing all your stuff the way that you wanted to, you're going to make headway. You're having aha moments, you're clearing energies, you're doing all sorts of stuff, you're changing your mindset. And what that looks like is you're literally just getting right with yourself. You're stepping closer into right mindedness, understanding that the ways of the world, the trauma, the false ideas, the concepts, most of which are lauded on this planet, are false learning and they're keeping you literally trapped. And like, for example, we have our lovely ET community, the disclosure subset, because there's so many communities, right? But the disclosure subset, it's always great to, help us to hold them accountable and get the disclosure and find out what the ETs are doing. But you have to understand that a lot of people who are in that community, not all, but a lot of them, same with the twin flame community, bring in another community. A lot of people, not all, but a lot of people are stuck in their trauma and they're just expressing that through that. So disclosure, we want disclosure, tell us. But what they're not doing, what they're doing is over investing in what's outside of them and they're getting caught. They're using their time to get caught in this he said, she said with concepts, with their own stuff. Instead, come back to yourself and understand that even the ETs outside of you, even all of that, are just coming in as a reflection of what's going on inside. Don't get distracted. It doesn't mean some of them don't have missions down here to be in that. That's true. But a lot of them may not be, or they may not be balancing it properly, and they may be going off in wrong directions that just and there's no right or wrong, by the way, because we hear eternally, but not on this planet. This planet's learning will end at some point, but we're here in source, and we are of source eternally. But when you get to the other side and you're like, oh shoot, I wasted my time because I had a plan that I wanted to, right? And so you want to be mindful in the twin flame community. Another one, yes, not everybody has a twin flame, right? And first of all, most people, if not everybody, doesn't understand what that is. And so a lot of times we see people get stuck on watching videos and tarot readings and whole sorts of stuff, and even just out in life, just focusing too much on certain people and having experiencing these limerances and all that, and they don't understand the energetic reason behind that. Let alone, no, they don't. A lot of them don't understand the psychological reason, let alone the energetic reason. The psychology is derived from the energetic issue that's going on within. So um, in a sense, they're just distracting themselves and engaging with their pain. There's no reason, for example, why a video that is entitled No Contact, What's He Thinking About You, should be like something somebody should be rewatching and overwatching and overwatching. And then you see in the comments people saying things like, I haven't heard from him in 15 years. And like, no, but I know he's thinking about me. And like, no spirit team would say go on with this. Do you understand what I mean? That your spirit team and your guides and everything will likely come in and say, hey, we're going to meet you where you are. And while you may have attracted such videos to assist you in this moment, it's time to grow, and you have to release whatever's going on in this mindset. So spirit is coming in. This is all course correction, by the way. This is what I'm talking about. When we talk about course correction, we're talking about corrections of the perception, clearing the mindset, undoing wrongful mindsets, right? So there's a lot of healing, correction of perceptions that need to occur in all kinds of communities. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the religious community, the spiritual community, the business community, the agribusiness community. Let's see. What were we just talking about? ET community, all of these things, wherever there's a human being, and especially if they're here on earth, there is learning to be done. And that's what we're doing. We're going through it. So we always love ourselves where we are, but we should not be in the same space that we were like 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? We have to continue learning and breaking through these mindsets. And so anyway, if you're following this, as I said that, I felt my like surgeon gloves come on, like I told you, whenever etheric surgeon gloves. So we're going to get into the mind today and do some course correction. I always say it's going to come and be like really short, but when we flow, we just flow with it. And so, okay, okay. And the 29th degree Capricorn in me is like, no, we need to go back and we need to make this presentation properly. And it has to be linear. And so it's like, just turn on the camera and go. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to roll with it. All right. Anyway, so that was a lot, but let's double back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you really super quickly a quick demonstration. I mean, like super quickly. No, okay, let me not say that anymore. Super simply, a quick demonstration of this concept of us assigning meaning. Now, remember, anytime you are assigning meaning, which is all the time, you are just engaging with your own consciousness. You don't see the person. You're probably not even seeing me. Like, I guess we can use me, for example. Look at me. Oh, yeah, we're going to get in there. Okay, we're getting into the mind. So if you feel anything in your mind and getting lower neck, base of the neck, guys, it's just it's just us lovingly with love and not needing anything in return. God, just come and relax. Notice what to say, God, just come and relax. Yeah, because you guys are aspects of God. We're out here clearing, right? Anyway, so you look at me and just take a moment and think, what is the first thing that you noticed about me? Do not drop it in the comments. I don't need to hear it. It's for you, right? Um, what's the first thing you noticed about me? Some of you, I don't know, maybe you'll notice that cute little light. Like, I love that. I'd be like, oh my God, that's so lovely. A nice little skylight. Loving it. Some of you may notice my skin tone, right? Some of you may notice my eyeballs. Some of you may notice the shirt. Some of you may notice my tone, whatever. And then you ask yourself, why did I notice that first? Maybe you notice this. I don't know. This clamp thing. Why did I notice that first? What am I thinking about this person that I'm seeing? What am I perceiving about this person? Is she crazy? Does she know what she's talking about? Is she still working it out? Is she up, down? Is she a nice person? Is she a horrible person? Like, who does she think she is? Like, what is your thought? Right? Whatever your thoughts are, I can assure you, they have nothing to do with me. And so it's your own glorious feedback that you're able to receive from yourself. The whole point is you need to look inside and always reflect. Why am I thinking this? Where is this coming from? Who am I? What am I? And it starts over again, right? Why am I thinking these things? And then you'll understand that it also comes with a certain emotion. It's probably going to come with some gut reaction to you, right? With you, right? Um, Gut reaction to me or you. You may even feel moved to do something. Sometimes, for example, if based on the energy frequency, your energy and my energy, you may want to lean in closer and listen. You may think, oh, wow, let me connect with this person, right? Or you may feel like, oh, I'm gonna listen, but I don't, or who knows, or maybe you didn't realize it, but you started it and you were sitting close to the screen, and then while it started playing, you got up and now you're across the room, right? I've had it happen a lot of times during sessions when the minute energy, because all I'm doing is creating a mouthpiece for sources and messages from you and from your guides and source and all of that, right? And so when the frequency of that hits, aka when we get on a topic that triggers you in some way, a lot of people, you will see them unconsciously react. They may turn their ear, they may not want to hear it, they may say, oh, I have to use the bathroom, and keep interrupting, or something will happen to distract them, right? All of this, to the energy worker, we see it, it's just a bodily or an auric or energetic field, holistically reaction to the frequency that's coming in, right? And then when it's brought to your attention, the person, they may like, no, but I really had to use the bathroom, or no, like so and so called and I really, no, this is the energy reacting to, this is what the energy looks like, right? And when you're in a state of mindfulness, you realize, oh, okay, I'm here to receive this message. And I'm here, yeah, this is the channel. Hi, it's me, Janelle, right? One of many of God's channels. God bless, right? Um, and the message is coming through. How am I going to react to it? And then you mind this, now you're no longer reacting, you're becoming responsive, because you are stepping out of mindlessness, unconsciousness, reacting, receiving, just doing, and blindly following, and you are becoming mindful. I'm receiving something. This is energetic input. What is the reaction on my mind, my body, my emotions? What happens in my environment? Who comes to interrupt me? Sometimes I'm trying to give a message to somebody and another person in the house keeps interrupting. Why? Because it affects them. And sometimes energetically, and they're unconscious of this, by the way, but energetically, they don't want this message to be given because to this person, because it's going to shift the dynamic. So you have to understand it's all about energy. And the more awake you are, the more aware and mindful you are, observant you are, and willing to understand this role, the more invincible you become, the more informed you become, the more discerning you become. It's the more healthy you become. It's literally you healing your mindset. So this is why we always say on this channel, stop just following blindly outside of you, whether it's what you see in the news, whether it's your friend at work, whether it's your friend at church, whether it's your teacher, whether it's your lover, whatever it is, whether it's some type of book or study that you're studying. Don't just blindly follow. If it's outside of you, it is just either going to fall into one of two categories. It's going to be something, a form, person, place, thing, situation, idea. It's going to be a form that represents an energy that either takes you inward and towards your proper trajectory, which is enlightenment, healing, reconstruction, reconfiguring, calibrating, integrating, right? Expansion. Or it is a form, a person, place, thing, situation, idea that represents something that takes you away from yourself, which is going to be division, which is going to be further fragmentation, which is going to be seeing enemies everywhere. If you're seeing enemies everywhere, you best believe you are seeing yourself as an enemy, because outside of you is just a mirror. It's a feedback loop. It just gives you back what you're putting out there. So this is all about getting to understand, well, what am I emitting consciously and subconsciously? What am I putting out there? And the way to see that is to look at what you're receiving. What are you seeing in your world? What's happening, right? What's going on? This is the mindset, because of what you are, multidimensional, a sovereign multidimensional co-creator being. You're a microcosm of the divine. You are your God self. You are the God you are God in its fragmented space, right? And so therefore, I and my Father, I and my Creator are one. All of us, all aspects of creation, are source, right? Because we are all within source. But my Father, my Creator, is greater than I, because I'm right now in this perceived diminished state of awareness, right? And as you heal, your mindset expands. And what we clock that as being on this planet is maturity, right? Oh, this person is mature. I love the way you handled that argument. Wow, look at that guy who came up to you when you came in and he was all aggro, and you really handled yourself in a mature way. Yeah, because you didn't just fly into reaction. You thought about it. You considered, wow, right? This is what we laud. We even laud it in our youngsters. Wow, what a very mature teen. So there is also something that is called spiritual maturity. And this is requires the healed mindset. So to heal the mindset, you must, and hopefully I didn't miss this, I think, or say it too convolutedly. Um, you must remember who you are. Remember what you are. And go back to the last video we did, which is the weekly video. What week is this? October 8th. I'm sorry, what am I saying? What am I saying? What week is this? August, August 18th, 2025 to August, was it 24th, 2025? Anyway, in case you're watching this in the future, go back, check the weekly video on YouTube and Instagram. I don't know if I'm still on these platforms at that time. Anyway, go back and look at what we talked about. Remembering who you are, your self-concept, because your self-concept is what literally manifests and molecularizes, I can never say that, molecularizes and calls into form, calls into being, calls into physicality, the world around you, right? And it explains why you experience what you experience. Now, yes, this is all individually driven, but also remember that we're not alone in what we see, because we're experiencing a collective consciousness as well. There's no such thing as separation. So yes, what some guy or some rando, I love that word. Love you, rando. What some rando thinks all the way out in another country is going to affect you, whether or not you're aware of it, because we are collectively dreaming, so to speak. However, and because and also we're all on in this environment, let's call it Earth, this plane of existence, right? It's a physical plane, right? So all of us collectively, we are co-creating with each other, right? And we see how stressful that can be, but you always remember, what do you remember? That in spite of what you encounter in your physical reality, which is co-created and largely you, right? Because you navigate reality by way of your vibration. Poverty mindset, you're not going to reach certain places where it's truly enriching. And I'm not talking about, oh, I now have millions of dollars. People have millions of dollars very easily because they may not have blockages to getting money, but they won't be rich in mindset. They won't live an enriching life because they're unable to with their poverty consciousness, right? So you navigate by way of your resistance. The guys are saying, yeah. So I'm like, they're right there. Hi, right? Resistance. What are you resisting? Look at that, because that's like a knot in your energy field. Go look at it, unravel it, Rubik cube it, whatever you have to do. So anytime you have existence, okay, yeah, they're saying anytime you have existence, yes, but I was going to say also anytime you have resistance, they're like, okay, we'll just abandon that thought. Okay, sorry, what are you saying? Anytime you have existence and resistance. Oh, why am I having this? There's that in itself is resistance, because as I said that, I was just drawn into somebody's body. I don't know whose body is this, because we're working in your field, right? Um, it's around the liver area. My bad. I should know where the liver is in the body. But anyway, I'm saying the liver area and I'm touching a part of my body, and I'm not going to show it because what if it's not the liver? I don't know, but I'm going to go look online. It probably is because anyway, yeah, so there's resistance in the liver. You saw how we like got in this loop, existence and resistance and existence. And I was like, where is this going? That's how this happens. That's a demonstration. Oh, okay, thank you. That's a demonstration of how this happens when we get stuck on this planet. We get stuck in certain mindsets. We get stuck lifetime after lifetime. It's why people keep coming back down. They get stuck after lifetime. They're working on the same thing because we get stuck in these mindsets. So when we introduce corrections to the mindset, aka miracles, right? It's just a device to correct your perception. But we're just like, wow, miracle. And there are miracles happening all the time. We just don't notice some of them, right? Anyway, so that was a quick demonstration of how it's easy to get kind of like lost and stuck, and you're hitting a wall. It's like you don't know what to do, and that in and of itself, it's confusion, but that in and of itself creates bigger problems for people, because as you know what they say, the devil makes work for idle hands. And no, for those of you with religious inclinations and not actually, let's run with the metaphor here. The point is, when your hands are idle, when your ideas are idle, all of that, you can easily get caught up in stuff. Another reason for mindfulness. All right. So anyway, you see, I come in here with a plan, and then I don't know what the plan is, but the plan is to talk about all of that because clearly that's what came through. But also, I want to give you a quick demonstration to show you how this concept of things being a feedback loop for you and your mindset is very easy to see, right? And in the July 2025 reading, which there were 3 parts, and I'll try to condense that in a future video and make it quicker and more accessible. But in that reading, we talked about the 7 laws of the universe and how they align with the 7 chakras, and how you can work practically. It's practical advice how to work with that proactively, so that based on which level it is, you know how to proactively navigate that. We also talked a little bit about it in the last video I just did, which is the weekly video I just told you about. And so here we're going to look at, for example, how we perceive the world. Let's throw that up in the third eye area. All right, hold on. Let me boom. Okay. So quick example. Let's use this cute little card. Bing. Okay, let me get some water. One second. Okay, so let's look at this. Oh, let me hold on. I don't know how you guys see this, but I'm seeing this um, as reversed. Boom. Okay, I like to have it reflect reality. So my laptop's on the left, so I want it to look like that. All right, so Anyway, so let's take a look here. Let's use this example of this willow tree. Super cute. It's a tree, right? So let's see how perceptions can change. So go ahead and take a moment and look at this tree. And I'll give you maybe just a minute or two to consider everything, every observation that you can make about this tree, this picture of the tree. And yes, I will hold it up higher. That's a good idea. I'll just give you about 2 minutes. And it doesn't just have to be about this tree, it could be about trees in general. As I said that, I just felt like all the light, like, like expand more, like if just to reflect some of you literally making that shift to now think about other trees in the world, right? And okay, so let's go. So the first thing I would say with this is, as I said, let's open that up. Let's expand the mindset here, the range, and think about all trees in general. I saw the light behind this tree like brighten up and expand. That reflects the expansion of your mindset, right? Now, just because we can't see these things with the physical eyes, do not mean that they're not happening. They're happening. It's the eyes, the physical eyes, that are the limitation because the body is a tool of limitation. Okay. So we saw that light expand. And as the light expanded, suddenly I became aware that I can't see that light or the source of it because this tree is in the way. Right. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you about. So anything, any form, any person, place, thing, situation, idea that you see, experience, talk about, engage with, whatever, if it comes into your conscious mind awareness in any way, shape, and form, you can count that as being a concept. It's a belief, it's a thing. Now, that concept or that belief or can either be experienced by you while on this physical plane as physical because it's manifested to that point. It can appear to you, and that would include, for example, a picture of it on the side of a bus, whatever, that's still considered a manifestation. It's appeared in your reality, right? If you turn on the TV and you catch the tail end of a commercial or a show or something, and the word is mentioned, a tree or something, that is a manifestation of it. Now you may not catch that, but it's there, right? It's a manifestation of this concept of a tree. It could also be merely a thought. Maybe you had a dream of a tree, or maybe you were sitting and you thought of one, or flitted across your mind. These are all manifestations of these are all forms of this concept of a tree. Now, remember though, in God's reality, which is the reality of oneness, where there's just oneness, there's no duality, there's no differentiation. This is that, that is this is this. There is no tree. That's why, as the cute little kid in the Matrix said, but there is no spoon, you know. He said it cutely. I don't know what I'm doing, right? There is no spoon. And the rest of us like, what do you mean? Here, first of all, I'm watching this movie, eating something with a spoon. So homie, what you talking about? There's a spoon. And on top of that, Neo is holding a spoon, and you're holding a spoon in there, and you're even bending the spoon. You're doing a lot with this spoon. You're talking about it, you're seeing it, you're eating with it, you're experiencing it, you're feeling it. You got hit with it, your mom, because she wasn't feeling things. You know, the point is, how could you say there's no spoon? What that kid was trying to say is, yeah, you're playing around with a concept in this physical space. You're playing around with a concept. Thoughts are things, yeah, when you're in this physical space. But that concept is not a reality. In fact, when you go it up in dimension or in density and whatnot, that same spoon may disappear because it's not real, but it seemed real down here. Some of us are in whole relationships that are not real. Maybe it seems real, right? Because, yeah. So that shows you we can make things down here because we're co-creator beings. But we can, when we're looking at it, we distinguish something is actually created versus made when there is substance to it. Then we could say it's real. That means even source will recognize it. God will recognize it. Why? Because it recognizes itself. God recognizes itself. God is love. We are love. If this spoon is created out of love, the frequency, it's going to be a real thing. And that's the thing we want to hang on to. But if you're using spoons and other things that, for example, just going with the spoon, that have no substance to it, right? Then we're just utilizing it down here. But it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. Okay. And even, yeah, anyway, we won't go too much more into that. But the point is, there is no tree. But I'm seeing a tree and it's blocking the light. Why? Did God make that tree? No, I projected the concept of that tree. We have a collective agreement of this thing called a tree. And that's what sets us apart from those we would call innovative and even creative. No, not creative, innovative, because people who are innovative down here, they literally are bringing in concepts that do not exist on this planet yet, and they are making it available for us to now collectively be able to jump on that bandwagon. And now it's a thing down here. But that concept was, it brought in. Everything's brought in here. By whom? By all of us, because we are the channels through which ideas flood this planet, right? So we're populating this plane with our own ideas, and we're making and we're creating and we're making and we're creating and we're engaging with the things that we make and the things that we create. But always remember that things that are made without love are just nothing. From spirit's perspective, there's nothing there. There's no substance. Don't bet on it. Don't even engage with it. Don't waste your time with it. You waste your time with it. Yeah, hopefully you learned a lesson and move on, but you're wasting time with something that is meaningless. And the things that are created in alignment with source, created with love, and when you create things with love, they're joyfully created, because that's what God's about. God's like, hey, I made you, or I created you, whatever. I'm putting words there, right? I created you in my image and likeness, which means you are love just like I am. You are joy just like I am. Yeah, just go out and play and be joyful. Joyful means for joyful ends. Where two or more are present, there will I be, right? Because it's connection. When you're in the separated state, where's the flow? Love literally cannot flow to you, let alone through you, right? So, but always remember, we are love in and of itself within. But we must give that love. We must share that love, because that's what the children of God do. That's a beautiful way of saying it, but you can say aspects of all creation, whatever you want to say. But I like to say the children of God. It's super cute, right? So, um, yeah, so here we are. Now we're here. We have this concept of a tree, and so we're all seeing it like, oh yeah, that's cool. We see a tree there. Now we can start to delve into this idea of perception and show you how, with this projected image of a concept that we call tree, now it's a free-for-all, and everybody and their mama is just projecting their own stuff onto this tree. So no one's actually seeing this tree at all. We don't see a tree at all, because all we're seeing is the conglomeration of all our thoughts being spewed out onto this concept, which actually is not even real. Okay? So we're already playing around in the realm of symbolism and meaning. Now let's take a look at this tree. Now I would say, if, for example, just to showcase, if you are a scientist, or to the scientific mind, whoever you are, to somebody with a scientific mind, um, you may be like, what is this? And how can I understand it? You may want to observe it, you may want to touch it, take samples, you may want to run it through some types of diagnostics, you may want to engage with it so that you can make conclusions, and anybody and everybody can have this scientific approach, right? We all should. We all do, right? And it's very helpful because it helps to balance things out. You're in a physical world, why not? Think about a cute ant, like trying to just figure it out, right? So you're going to see it as an object, and you're going to probably wonder, well, where you make speculations and hypotheses and engage with it in that way. If you are, let's say, a philosophical mind, and you can be philosophical and scientific, by the way, right? We can be more than one thing. If you are a philosophical mind, you will approach it and say, what is this, right? Is it a tree? What is a tree? Yes, is it real? You're sitting here contemplating about this item. If it falls and no one's here, did it fall? Was it there? Who are we in relation to this thing that we call a tree? Let's contemplate and muse about it. If you are a, let's see, what was the next one? If you are a religious mind or a spiritual mind, you are you are going to worship this tree. Some of you. Some of you will end up worshiping this tree because you will give it a meaning that introduces a hierarchy of some sort, right? And there's this idea of what is this? It's separate from me, already separated mindset, already coming in. It's separate from me. Let's give it a designation. Is it higher than me? Is it lower than me? Is it the same level as me? Is it watching me? Is it better than me? And if this is showing your own mindset. I mean, because it's you could choose any of these approaches, and there are multiple approaches. We've just covered three. How are you approaching? What is your discursive eye towards this thing that is that has appeared in your reality? What are you making it mean? You're making it have a dialectic here. If you're of the mindset that's religious or spiritual, you're searching for somebody in charge. You're searching, and some of you are searching to be in charge of someone. You're searching for order. You're searching for meaning to this tree or this thing appearing here. And we've seen just through all the plethora of religious ideas and spiritual ideas throughout this world, and even atheistic ideas throughout this world, how that simple search can branch off into many ways. Some will see the tree as something, again, to be worshipped. Some will see the tree as something that is watching them, maybe even mocking them, that is judging them worthy or not. Some will see the tree as something that requires their allegiance, their obedience, right? Some will see the tree as having a threatening nature, as long as don't listen to it. But if you listen to it, it will bestow something upon you. These are all ideas that are being in the mindset of human beings, not all, but a lot, and they're being projected onto this item, which we know from the highest perspective is not real. Okay, but on this planet, it's developed here. Let's look at the historical mindset. The historical mindset will study the interactions of all these other people that we talked about with this tree. And maybe it'll notice that the scientific minds argued with the religious spiritual minds, and they went to war over this tree, and the historians are writing, but then we wonder what perspective the historian is writing from, and to understand this narrative that they're telling about this tree, all this about this tree, which has no actual meaning except that which is projected onto it by all these minds and their desires to engage with the tree. Then we have the poetic mind, who looks upon this tree and sees the beauty in it, sees the destruction in it, may even write sonnets, I'd say that way, write sonnets about how their fellow man engaged with this heavenly deity or whatever, right? We'll see other artists, musicians, making music of it, maybe even wanting to bring people together around this tree. or making music to uplift the tree in times of peril. Or we will see, what's another one? We'll see activists of all kinds. We'll see activists who want to come in and protect the tree because they see the tree as a victim. They're in need of protecting from these horrible monsters that are all these other people or some of these other people. We'll see people who want to come in and make more trees for this tree because this tree may be lonely. So they may want to work with the scientists to understand how we can duplicate these trees. Then we have the people who are all about the money and self-serving. They want to see how they can make money off this tree. And they don't even need to focus on the tree. All they need to focus on is all the people who are demanding this tree. And all they need to do is have the psychology behind these mindsets of these people who want this tree so that they can give or they can sell whatever promises about this tree they can to all these people, whether they're promising that we could protect the tree so that you can always have access to it, whether they're promising that we'll protect this tree so that your children can live and play with this tree, or whether they're saying, oh, well, we can help your people benefit through the cold by finding a way to market this parts of this tree to you for firewood, or we can sell to these people who like to engage with symbols of the tree, but not the tree. So we're going to make toys for you and keychains so that you can have the tree and be part of a zeitgeist. This is all our mindset. Then we've got people who are creating content about this tree and maybe about the different people here. Then we've got people reading that content and arguing with the other people on their living room on their couches at 2 a.m. watching all these. And we have streamers who are streaming live about this tree and the government coming in to want to get this tree and to create, order. And then there are people somewhere out in the mountains somewhere like, let's pray for this tree and pray for all of them, and let's come in and be a peacekeeping. Now we have people coming in and forming human chains around this tree. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? And then there are always some who are like, what tree? Because they're not even paying attention to this tree. Because guess what? When we go and we bring our perspective wider, we understand that this tree has no meaning except for that which is given to it. And the people who put all this meaning on this tree have some type of lesson to learn at the soul level. And that's why they're energetically gravitating towards this tree. But there are some whose soul lessons have nothing to do with this tree at all. So this tree means nothing to them. They're not moved by it. They don't read conservation efforts about it. They're not getting caught up in politics about it. They don't care about the wars being fought about it. They may look over and see people all up in this right here and realize, oh, well, they, depending on their level of awareness, they may be like, oh, they're working stuff out, or, oh, they need to, get over themselves or their tree. Then we've got people who can see the reality that it's not about the tree, that it's just people engaging with themselves and projecting that onto this tree and getting into all kinds of skirmishes and practices and making money and depriving others of money and all sorts of stuff, even falling in love over this tree. But it's just them living out their own reality here and working it out. And then even the people in here, in this wide array of people going through stuff. Five of Wands is the energy here. Five of Wands. And as I said, Five of Wands, it blew out. The Five of Wands card is the card of internal conflict. It's conflict in general. And as I saw myself put it here, it flew out. And I saw the Seven of Wands, defense, right, come out in front of this tree. And so that defense is not an armada of man's making. It is spirit's promise that all of these projections by all of these people, no matter what they think is happening, whether somebody comes up and chops down that tree. Didn't somebody chop down a tree recently? Anyway, chops down this tree and the whole world is in mourning. Spirit is saying nothing actually happened. The tree was not real to begin with. You are in an environment where your soul came down here to learn. And basically, all you're looking at is, how did I do when I thought this was real? Who did I kill? Who did I beg? Who did I maim? Who did I, jip out of money or fleece their money? Who did I ignore? Who did I not invite to the cookout? Who did I, whatever it is. And Spirit's question when we pass is always going to be the same thing, no matter what circumstances you found yourself in, always the same question. Yes, but did you love? Did you love yourself? And did you love others? Did you love creation? Right? Now you can't see the spark of God in your enemy because you have too many trees in your way. Your vision is blocked by all these false beliefs, to the point that now, if you study this discourse, this discourse, right? If you study discourse and even just look at political discourse in the United States, just this one sample, let's say over the last 20 years, there are certain keywords that have come in. There are certain populations and demographics that have been identified, and for punitive measures, for being hurt, and others for being elevated, right? This is BS. You got to get out of this mindset, because there are some people who were caught up in this melee who have left it because they've matured spiritually. They realize, what am I doing here? The question is, what's the rock bottom? All these people are waiting, and hopefully it comes in this lifetime, right? Or otherwise they'll just get in another lifetime, but they'll spend their life in this war space in their mind, right? When will you realize, stop fighting the war with other people, whether it's the guy at your grocery or the person you popped off at on the road because they cut you off, right? Stop fighting those outside wars, because it's just reflecting your own internal war. And you're going to keep wasting your time there until you recognize that. And then you recognize, oh, shoot, I don't need to be on the battlefield at all. Let them hash it out. I've got stuff to do. You turn inward and you go. And now what that has done for you is that you have acted in the right way as your own agent, a sovereign agent. You always have been, but as a sovereign agent, you've been choosing poorly. You have to choose wisely for yourself, which is to heal the self. So you release your engagement in this world of your making because of your beliefs, and you start to dream better for yourself. I don't need to be on the battlefield at all. I need to release these relationships and these connections and these ideas of mine so that I can grow as a person. And here's the beautiful thing about it. When you elevate yourself that way, now, oh, they're saying now the other card, yeah. Now you are calling in spirit through all these trees to give you the assist you need, which is to clear the way. And then you can move forward in alignment with source, higher frequencies, which is all about healing, because you chose to heal your own mindset. Now you are a great candidate to help heal other people. Source can work through you. And if source says go back into to that space, and we'll go together and we'll assist other people, then that's the calling and that's the mission. That's that bodhisattva stuff you're doing. You may not need to take those vows in this lifetime to be operating in alignment with spirit and with source and for helping. But you can't be an instrument for source if you're out here with the mindset that is not about healing but about fighting. Who are you fighting? You're fighting yourself. So get right with spirit. And when you're fighting yourself, who's yourself? It's God. Okay. So you see the layers here, and you have to realize, I am worthy. I am worthy. It's just the lack of worthiness that keeps us here in these strife moments. So if you're still here, hi, thank you. Shout out. If you're still here watching this video, then spirit is reminding you it starts from within. And where does it start? With your self-concept, the I am statement. When you remember what you are, notice I keep saying what you are, because it's beyond the human body. You're not always a human, right? When you remember what you are, you don't get caught up in the sandbox. You get into alignment with spirit by choosing yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself. Because who is yourself? God. It's the God within that you are serving when you serve yourself in the way that you heal. You heal, you receive from God, and you heal yourself. And you can be in a work in progress and God will still use you. It's your willingness to let energies of love flow through you. Everybody's receiving love. But you can only demonstrate that you've accepted that love by your ability to give it away. And simply stated, that makes sense because it's like a glass, right? You're this cute little glass. If the glass is clear, light can flow through you. If it's a dirty glass, it can't float. Like I said, I couldn't even say the word. It changed to the word float. Did you hear that? I was gonna say it can't flow through you, and I said it can't float, because it's gonna get stuck right here in this water, which is you. Super cute. It's gonna get stuck within you, and you're not sharing. Where two or more are gathered, right? There will I be. You have to clear the inside of yourself. And I'm not talking about the body. The body will always follow the mind. If you have ailments, and we all have some type of something going on, that's just your mind projecting onto the body. You must heal your mind, right? The Page of Wands is all about calling in. Look at this. Calling in. What are we calling in? Source. We want to work together. But don't work together with the blind. The blind can't lead the blind. Look at this guy. He like, yeah, my bad on that. Fool card. Where's he looking? Source. Come on, source. Let's work together. Now notice the Three of Pentacles. It's collaboration. Look at the Three of Cups. It's celebration. It's community. It's source. But you're going to cut yourself off from working with spirit. And suddenly I feel like I'm talking to some of you practitioners. Oh, some of you practitioners, because the people who watch my stuff, you guys are guides and healers and stuff. Spirit is saying, stop making strange bedfellows. Stop, look at your practice. Look at the thoughts that you're using to fuel your work in your work with people. Make sure that you're cleansing and clearing your space and working at the level of the mind. This is a call for course correction. Healing of perceptions. That means looking at your grief points, making discernment. I'm accepting this cup, but is this cup representative of the grief that I'm carrying and the anger and the trauma that I'm now going to allow to work through me and out into the world? Or am I channeling source? Am I working with source? Am I working with joy? Am I doing my best in spite of my trauma to be a clear channel through which I can work with people, whether it's making jewelry, whether it's surveying the pavement, whether it's doing Reiki, whether it's doing past life stuff, whether it's doing readings, whether it's being a medical professional, whatever it is, writing books, whether you're being a stay-at-home mom or dad, whatever it is that you're doing, do it with faith and love and source. All right. And you do that by cleaning up your self-concept so that you can see a world and engage and choose to be proactive about engaging with a world filled with forms that represent the flow of source. Okay. Hope that makes sense. That's to go. All right. If you guys would like to work more personally with me, we do it all. You know where to find me. Bye. Love you.